burns. Whew. Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, welcome all to the very first in the flesh appearance by yours truly. It's an honor, it's a pleasure. It is a great night. Oh, how you doing, Tree? And what a night we have. It was a long road to get here, my friends. But it was worth it. Oh, I wish you would have seen what it took. Night is just falling now. Am I prepared? Can you ever really know? I don't know. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I have what it takes. I can do this. This is it. This is the beginning of an era. Of an era. It is burning. Hell yeah. Let's throw another one. Now, the trick is you don't want to get too hot. You just want to just the right amount. Okay. Oh, Canada. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene. A little spooky, getting a little dark. Getting a little dark here, guys. Okay. This is gonna be new for me. This is gonna be a, I won't say first. I recorded a whole episode, guys. A whole episode. Whoa. A whole episode. And I lost it by an error. I screwed up. I deleted it. And I did all that work. And it just burned up, just like this wood is doing. It just, I lost it. I don't have any of the footage, nothing. But this is it. This is the one that stays, so it's a sign. Maybe that episode wasn't meant to be. Maybe this is the episode that is meant to be. But I wish you guys would have seen that last one. Not meant to be. It is what it is. You got to keep flowing. You can't be looking back. So, let's do this. My plan is, I want to just, I think, talk. This is a very light, since this is the first real episode, I think I want to keep it light and just me and the fire tonight. Just me and the fire. The fire is the one thing that I know for a fact 99% of my ancestors have been around a fire. Chilled around a fire and looked into it. Just like we do. It was pretty cool, you know. I like spending time around a fire. It's one of my favorite things. And you know for a fact, everybody, all your lineage has done this right here. can't smell this with my nose on. The first episode, I'm taking this all in. You never get to come back here ever again. A baby's first steps you want to record. This is a baby's first steps. This is Yoel Vision. Okay, let's go. This is Yoel survival tip number uno. I'm gonna take this down. What is this doing? Bear with me. I'm gonna put you up on forest game. Okay, this is the standard forest. Very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. But let's say you're walking. This tip is gonna be about firewood. Okay, so if you need firewood like me, I go through a lot of firewood. I need a quick, easy way that I can get a lot of firewood really rapidly. Ow! And I'm going to show you how I do it. So you're going to want to look for a certain type of tree to get firewood. Which tree could it be? If you guessed dead trees, you guessed right. That's what you want to look for. But you want to look for not trees that are like on the ground. You want to look for a tree that's standing up like this. Bada bing, bada boom. Obviously, those are not the right ones. But when it looks like this and it's... Now, this is a full tree. But watch how easy this is. Whoa! Look at that. Takes no effort at all. And you look super strong. Now, hopefully nothing crawls on me. But I'm going to bring this back to camp. Oh, Yoel survival tip, man. That's good water. I'll pick that up later. So we're back, and that was not that much work considering we got a full log here. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, what do, right? You got this log of this dead wood ready to be freaking used as firewood. I forgot to explain too, when this is sitting up, it doesn't collect moisture. So you want those trees that are standing up still, that are weak to pull and break. So they get all that oil, everything sits at the bottom. And that's really the good wood. It's like, it's dead, but it's standing up. And then you can grab it, break it easily, and bring it back to camp. So anyways, we're at HQ. And now, what do? And I think the best way is just to show you. So watch this. This is the Y way. You find a tree like this. It's quick, easy. Oh wait, I gotta protect the mic. Oh, this one's tough actually. Let's see if we can do it though. Oh, she's not gonna budge. Okay, so what do we do now? I'm going to show you what we do. Now I looked at what squirrels do, what crows do, what animals do. You know, almost like what would a child do? So I use gravity. Ooh, what was that? I don't know which cracked. But if throwing it up doesn't work, then what you do, you know what I mean? But yeah, look at that. You can just debark it. That's pretty easy. And yeah, you can just keep doing that. Use one of these logs to break them, and you got yourself prime time log. Boom, 1, 2. We can get a bunch more too. Look at all history, everything. But you pop in and you are a neutral baby. Now, currently I believe, you are neither good nor bad. You are good depending on who says you're good. You are bad depending on who says you're bad. It all depends on who says. So there is no actual solid truth of good and bad. There is what the majority thinks and whatever. But the actual truth is, you are what you are. And when you were born, you are just what you were born as. You know, don't get it twisted. People say sinful, people say this, people say that. But in reality, there are no words for when you pop out. There are no words to describe you. But people make up words. And they say, yeah, this is what we use to describe you. And it's just what people say. It all depends on the time, the place, who says it. But when you take away everything and you're just by yourself, there are no words. So that brings me to a point. Part of the why way. Okay? I'm for truth now. I believe in this neutral type, this neutral thing, this thing of it is what it is. It's neither here nor there, it just is. And I think that is the case with a couple things. Namely, humans. We're both good and bad. So we're neither. We're neutral. We're just is what it is. Depends on what it is. It's like water. Like Bruce Lee, right? You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Now water can flow or water can crash. Be water, my friends. Depends on what you put water in. You know, if it's a bowl, it's a bowl. If it's this, if it's that. It all depends on who we're talking about. You decide what you are, you choose what you believe. But there's no set. It just is. What it is, that's the set part. But humans make up words. I believe, well, I guess first we should stop and get to part of the why way here. And I need to talk about myself. If I can be selfish for a second. Pocket, the best place for it. I need to get this off my chest to all the viewers, to the viewer. I grew up in Canada, and I grew up in a very Christian family. Oh, yeah. Okay. Just checking the battery. But I grew up in a very Christian family. And I remember being a little child and going to church. And I'm sure a lot of us have the same memories, going to church. I remember being in my living room, just falling asleep on the floor because, I was born to a big family. I'm the youngest. And I remember all of us in this living room listening to my dad preach. And yeah, I would fall asleep. It was this early age. And always listening to preaching from my dad. And that happened all the time growing up. And I went to a private school, a bougie private school. We were out of our league with financially wise. My mom and dad didn't have a lot of money, but they believed in the Christianity so much that they decided it was worth it. And they would spend any money to get me in a private school and get my siblings in a private school. And there we learned about Yeshua. I didn't know his name was Yeshua at the time, but Jesus is who we learned about, and Yahweh, who we just called God. Hi, Frog. Froggy! Hello. Oh, you are my only friends in this scary forest. Hello. Have a seat, my friend, I'll protect you. I'll let no harm come to my frogs. Okay, where was I? So I grew up very Christian, okay? And I was a zealot. I was a zealot for Yeshua. I grew up totally loving the tale of Yahweh and the mystery and the this magical book and the, if mastered, the possibilities of what I could obtain, which I prayed when I was younger for wisdom, just like Solomon. Prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And I believe wholeheartedly in Jesus and the whole world of Christianity. Now you probably know where I'm going, but so that obviously that changed later. But I was very, very passionate. I thought there was I want to tell you right now, I thought I was till death. I gave my soul. I sold my soul to Jesus. I verbally sold my soul. I verbally said and prayed to Jesus. I said, I give you my soul. Yeshua. Well, I remember that moment. That was a big thing. I turned and I gave my life when I forget the date. I have the date written down. I know the date. Around 19 or so, maybe 18, 19. I officially gave I had to test it first. Test it myself, I guess. And at a certain point, I always believed. I always believed in God. And I was like, yeah, no, I love this. I believe in this. I choose what I believe, and I believe in this version of God. And yeah, it just went, it was amazing. Growing up, I thought you know, I was in the world. I was a chosen one. I was following this. I still am a student of Yeshua. And yeah, and that point, and then later, I never really questioned, um, I never allowed myself the choice to question. There was nothing higher than the world that Christianity portrayed. It touches on so many things, and there is a lot of truth in it that it just hit home. There was no other way to me. And there was nothing that anybody else had in my own eyes because I never looked, I never read in other cultures and other religions at the time. I love the stories. I don't know if they're true. I don't know if they're not. I hope, you know, I'm going to continue to try and be like my role model, Yeshua. But I don't know if all the things that are said about him and the stories that he was in and the Bible is true to 100%, unanimously. I don't want, it pains me to bring doubt on that book. But there's so much of it that doesn't feel right, actually, when I actually give myself the choice. When I started actually, I prayed a prayer of freedom and I asked for just to look for the truth. And then I was free to look at everything. And I decided, I really feel like some of this is not right. Now, I might look into that this episode. We might go into that. Because I need to get, that's the why way now, present. Before it was Yahweh. But I'm closer to God. I believe I'm getting back on track. And I'm getting from a new start, and anyways. But maybe that rings true for some of you, I never thought my dad was wrong. He is amazing, an amazing dad, amazing father, and I have an amazing mother. But, they could have been wrong about some things, and they didn't look at the history of the Bible. They never glanced at like all these councils and committees and like the actual history. They never really had access to it, when they were growing up. And now we're at a point where we have technology, and technology, if you use it the right way, is amazingly powerful. I started using it. Bada bing, bada boom. And then, yeah, like my dad never looked into history, never looked into like certain things where it's like, yeah, humans would totally do that. Like, totally do that. And it gives you a nice world to be enveloped in. But is it really the truth? Like, who was Yeshua then? I believe he exists. But it's like, who got in his ear? Who started writing words that he never said? Like, who started that? Because we know that happens sometimes. Like that happens sometimes in the Bible. Like there is a word that was not supposed to be there that is there. Like with all these translations, that has happened at least one time. So if it's happened at least one time, then who's to say it can happen 2 times, 3 times, 4 times? I never even allowed myself the freedom to question all that. But then I did. And that was a monkey off my back. That was an amazing thing. I'm free. I am personally, spiritually free. So, yeah, I mean, what a gift that is. I can do whatever I want. But I want to say that I want to come back to the belief that I had before, but if I'm being honest, I don't. You really do choose what you believe. And I do it for, as far as I can tell, in my limited knowledge, I believe I'm doing things for the right reasons. And I'm not malicious, I'm not trying to freaking, we're all in this together. We're all humans. We're all, you know, brothers and sisters. It even goes past that. For me now, I believe we are not simply brothers and sisters, but I am you. You are me. That's my new philosophy. You are not just my brother, not just my sister, but you are actually me. I am you. The viewer is me in another life with a different set of circumstances in a different time period. But we're constantly looping because we're a fragmentation of this everything. We're part of it and we are what we are. Who knows what we are? Can you describe what we are? Humans? I can't. Not with the knowledge I have. I'm going off tonight. I'm going off tonight. I have some things to say. But I am you. You are me. We are God. Part of God. Not entirely God. But God is not separate from us. I don't believe that God is separate from us. I can see the God in all of us. I can see the Yeshua in all of us. We just have to bring that out. But we're all the same. You're a unique fragmentation of one spirit. And you are yourself. But it's much bigger than that. And we're all connected in that way. I really feel like. And I believe, I started thinking about, natural things. I like to learn from good old nature. You look at this, watch this. Boom, you got positive numbers 1 to infinity. You have negative numbers 1 to negative infinity, right? You have all, it goes forever. But there's only 1 0. Okay? Oh, what a big deal. This is 0. Isn't that weird? It's a little weird. Now, who knows how old numbers are? Numbers are a weird thing. Who would tell you that? Einstein would probably tell you that. Tesla would probably tell you that. You know, when you look at numbers, if you're a numbers nerd, you know how weird numbers are. But anyways, let's look at another thing. You got degrees of hotness. Okay, you got temperature. Hot from warm, not even degrees, not numbers. Warm to hot to blazing, infinity. And then you got cool to freezing, whatever, infinity. Negative, right? Positive and negative. And then you got that weird thing in the middle where it's neither. It's not there, it's not here. It's not positive, it's not negative. You have positive, negative, and neutral. 0. Lukewarm. These are laws. These are things that are not up for debate. They exist. Now, why do I say that? Part of my way, the way I look at life now, freely, is I look at things like that, through that lens. If God is, then God is everything. It simply is. It just is. That's what 0 is. God is 0. God is not positive or negative. It just is. Water, clear, invisible, mirror. This, yeah. You know what I mean? Clear. God It says in the Bible too, the clue, I am that I am, in all caps. I believe that is what God is. How can God be anything else? There are no words. So whatever God appears as, it is. But it's everything. Because who can say that it's not? But that's just what I believe. But since you're part of God, you are also, you are what you are. Neutral. My little frog friend gets eaten by a snake. I get my arm lopped off. It just is what it is. Somebody who did it, who cares? I mean, when you get to the broader aspect, right? And then we can tackle that. And after we take that from a logical standpoint of, then we can go from there. But once we realize and we're in that zone of like, you are me, I am you, there is no right way to do any of this. We just need to figure it out. We just need to try. Then boom, we can grow. But that makes sense. That's what I always wanted to believe, but I never allowed myself the freedom to choose that. You know, it makes sense to me. I believe now that there is an afterlife. I believe there is a God. I just think, you know, we're still figuring out, you know, God is still figuring out what it is. It's an exploding. It's an unfolding of God. And nobody knows what's going on, which seems true. I mean, you know, I believe there is a coming into knowledge. I believe that everybody dies, and it's weird and it's suspicious, right? Everybody dies. Nobody knows what happens after death. What use is that to the viewer? You will have to decide. But I want to bring you that point of view as early as possible so you can eat all of the information and grow in wisdom, just like I am, just like Yeshua did. Let's try and get to that state together, but in our own way. The way I do it is me, okay? Nobody else. I decide what I believe. I'm free. Especially here. I know spirits are watching. I don't know, but I feel. Ancestors, I don't know. Maybe not ancestors, but just spirits, people that they're watching this. I want to entertain them as well. Entertain everything. Because I'm part of everything. So, I don't want to live my life just like God did in the past. God did this, God did that. He's done so many things. We've all done so many things. I want to live it a little differently. Hello. There's tons of frogs around here. Hello. Oh, that's awesome. They're chilling around here. I'm connected to everything. But humans are tricky. When humans get involved with other humans, we get tricky. We get complicated and we look into a mirror, as you would say, I guess. Here's a challenge to the viewer. Look into a mirror for as long as you can. See what happens. And props to you if you turn off the light and look at it in a mirror. If you look into a mirror with only your shadow visible, like your outline, you got some balls on you. But look into a mirror is creepy because so me and you, viewer, we both started as a bebe. And we are growing up in a world that has already been spinning before we were placed on it. And you are neither good nor bad, you just are. And you're figuring it out and you're getting up to speed. And my goal is to get you up to speed as fast as possible so you can change the world in a better way faster. Now you popped out, bada bing, boom, you're out. A whole new world, a whole new place to come out. This little toad is just chilling right now. I love frogs and toads. They're like gemstones of the forest. A whole new world, a whole new place for the viewer. And the people around you, all the humans and everything you've interacted with, have muddled and gotten in your ears and shown you lots of symbols and imagery of things that, you know, have a lot of energy and different energies attached to them. And you've interacted with those and you've played with those for however long you've been presently in time on Earth. But you decide what you want to throw away and what you want to keep, and you decide that as fast as you want to decide it. The majority is not always right. There is no rules to this. The only rules is what we make. The only limits are what we make them. It's a total playground, but it's a tough playground on Earth. That this is for learning and growing and creating memories and energy. There's always something more to learn. But I don't know how old or how young you are, viewer. But I hope you give yourself the freedom to choose what you believe. Ask yourself again, is this really what I believe? There are so many things that we've just decided this is what we have to do every time because it's how it's been done. Relationships, jobs, living, your life path, everything of what you've been taught in school, through media, through everything. Question that. Weigh it. Throw it in the fire. Does it burn? There are patterns out there that we will find. Patterns of life, patterns of nature, patterns that will show us the truth. Patterns in all culture. What do we all agree on? What is the constant flow of zeros that are the truth, that don't move, that aren't positive, aren't negative, they just are? That's the patterns we need to find, and the viewer needs to find. Battery died. It was close. So we had to fix it. But yeah, let's keep going, man. So I know it's a lot, first episode, like first real episode. It's a lot. It's a lot I'm taking. I mean, not taking. Idiot. Lot I'm putting out there. But we have to get this, I don't want to keep explaining myself, so I'm going to lay out where I am. So you know the truth about me. I'm not hiding anything. You know me, or you're getting to know me. I just want to have some fun. Whatever way. Whoa. Whatever way that's going to happen. But let's keep going. So where's the viewer at now? So the viewer grows up, and the viewer is now, boom, learning. Probably chances are some form of school, some form of education. And it was manipulated. It's been manipulated for a long time. You've been in an educational institute that doesn't really care too much about you, just enough. And yeah, it tells you the things that are going to be beneficial for the state that the area is in. It's going to tell you what what you need to know to be a benefit to that area. And it's very flawed in a lot of ways. It's good in some ways, flawed in a lot of ways, and not updated. Chances are you're in a school that has not been updated. And what I mean by updated, things need to be updated, okay? A lot of things need to be updated and have changed since we've gotten technology, okay? You know this, I know this, we know this, but we don't do anything about it. Things need to be updated. Every now and again, this is part of the why way, okay? Everything needs to be updated every once in a while, okay? So you look at, now I could be an idiot while I'm talking, so put this on just in case. Everything needs to be updated. Your programs need to be updated, right? But just like that, the programs that we humans create need to be updated. And we need to look back at them and say, hey, is this still working? Is this still working for us and serving us? And if it's not, then it needs to be updated and changed. So in a school setting, what needs to be updated? Right away, I'll tell you, you need to be able to pick what you want to learn, except for some things, right? That I guess they do that kind of, but that needs to be, if a kid is not interested in biology, there should be no reason they need to study biology. Like they'll be an adult, hopefully, and they'll be able to pick up that if they need to learn it or whatever. But like, more freedom in what you actually want to pick and spend your time on, your precious young lives and years and time. That needs to be totally respected and what you want to spend your time on, I think. And then also, people need to understand how much Snapchat, Instagram, all these things has affected the life of the student. And I think that, like, one big thing I definitely wanted changed was presenting, right? Like, I hated presenting. I was good at it for a little bit, and then I just started getting self-conscious, and it just crumbled. And I could not, I've had bombs that I just forgot. Like, I totally wiped my memory of that thing because it was so bad. I can't even remember what happened. I just blanked in front of the class. Like, PTSD moments. But yeah, nowadays you got Snapchat, you got all these things where it makes, it's so embarrassing and the stakes are so high that like you don't want to mess up because you could be recorded, you could be talked about, whatever, so easily. Unless you want to be a public speaker, don't make the students have to public speak like in front of the class like that. Like, let them make a video, let them make this, let them make that. Or, but like it's so unnatural. Unless you want to be a politician and you want to get into whatever, okay, then you need public speaking. But it shouldn't be mandatory. That's one thing I don't agree with. I don't care who says what, but certain things, right, need to be updated. you know Look at all the things around you. Your room. You look at your room. Does your room need to be updated? What's working for you? It may have worked before. Is it still working? Or things you want to do, things you're passionate about, does it need to be updated? Your view on it. You tried it before, it didn't work. Does that mean it'll try now? What is updated? What has changed in your life? Are you making more money? Are you in a different spot mentally, spiritually? I'm going to tell you quite frankly, there's another life path. That's why I want to talk to the viewer. I'm so happy I'm here because there is another life path. It doesn't have to be what you thought it was. It doesn't have to be that. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this is really nice. Hey, Froggy, I'm chilling here too. It can be whatever you want, and nobody can be the judge. You can just be alone. You can be single. But you could dedicate your life to something else. You don't have to put all your time and energy. I don't see why we need to put all our time and energy into creating a child when you're not passionate about it. Then why would you create that child? There's already a bunch of children that need fathers and mothers. And what I mean by that is teachers. There's a bunch of children who are already born that need teachers, and we're not taking care of them. We'd rather just start a new family and have our own kids, new little gods, new little us's. And it's understandable, but it doesn't seem to be another way, but there is another way. It's annoying right now because you have to explain it. People aren't expecting it. They don't know what to think when they view it. But as long as you have a dream, a passion, it doesn't have to be the relationship. It doesn't need to fit, a marriage into it. It can be whatever you want. You don't need to be partnered up. But the world makes it so hard to not be. I just want the viewer to know that is an option. I'm picking that till death. I put my time as a spirit into something else. I don't want to live as a human. We've been doing that for a long time. I want to live as a spirit. There are mechanics to make a family life, and that life path, that gold certified life path of the family life, there are mechanics to make that go smoothly. And it takes a whole life to master it, right? To eat the whole fruit of it. But if you don't want that, if you're thinking, you know what, I actually don't feel comfortable in a relationship, I just want to go solo dolo, lone wolf, and I want to do something big, positive, be a light, you can do that. And that's another life path. That's part of the why way. Probably nothing. Crazy. Like, it matters more about how are the people doing that are on Earth right now. Let's not worry about creating more. Just taking care of the ones that we have right now. Like, how is the quality of life? You're so worried, Elon Musk, all these people are like, oh, the population, the population. Like, you're just concerned about your own workforce. Population. Population. The fact that you have control over what life you create is one of the more powerful things that you as a human have. You know, if everybody in a country said, hey, we don't like the way things are run, we're not having kids, like Japan or China is doing, that is a power you have as a human to say, no, I'm not creating a child because this planet is not designed to fit. Like, I don't like how the planet is. I decide, no. Wow, I can't believe how peaceful I am right now. One thing I want to impart is, viewer, if you desire nature, it is very beneficial to go into nature, but very crucial that you go into it alone. Spending time in nature alone. Underline, alone. That is the key. Camping alone compared to camping with other people is, that difference has changed my life. In a world, in the developed world, at least in Canada, because I know Canada, I want to talk to the viewer. Hopefully you're Canadian. I'm sure everybody understands this. Camping, a big thing in our culture. Go camping alone. Try it out. Try what I did. Spend a night alone and see what happens. See what you think. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. But you don't know until you try. One thing I've learned, call it God, call it whatever, but whatever it is, always makes it worth it when you go out in nature. You never leave without something happening. I've never left like empty. I've left experienced. Now it's creepy, tough, whatever. But if you do your due diligence, it's very worth it. I mean, I'll test it right now. Look at think of the best memory you have in your life. Go ahead. I'm like Dora the Explorer. I'll wait. Think of the best memory you got. Now tell me it wasn't outside. And don't lie. You've done enough lying. Oh, it was probably outside, right? Fresh air, nature, country air. Like, there is just something about it that really feeds you and gives you, like, when you come in after a long day of being outside, you Just you can't help it. It's just something. It is just, you need it. The fire, look at this. It's so simple. It's all we need. We overcomplicate it. I'm still learning the way, but it's so simple. Food, water, shelter, nature. This is a long video, I know, but they'll get shorter. I just need to get some things off my chest. Oh, I can't wait to keep living and then find out what happens after. We just need to be strong, and we all need to work together. And we all need to talk to each other. That's how we use the internet. That's how we win, is if we can just talk to each other. And we pick the best philosophies, the best things, the best way to go forward. Then we win. Who knows, maybe this is a show where spirits who are after death, they go back and go, what happened? And then they come to find out that this is like, kind of like the Truman Show. Kind of just like, boom. Like, once you come back into knowledge, you realize it was all just a game, just a video game. And you could have picked to be a squirrel. You could have picked to be that toad or that frog. And this is all for learning. I got so many people I want to meet. So many spirits I want to talk to. There's one spirit for sure I really want to talk to. I know my meeting with him is coming. That's the why way for today.